Hey everyone, and welcome back to The Girl with the Shovel. I am Angela, and today we're going to make our own snake plant soil. So snake plants are semi-succulent, so that means that they need a little bit less moisture in their soil than our typical tropical houseplants. So a good snake plant soil will have three things. First, it will drain well. Second, it will hold on to a little bit of moisture. And then third, it will have plenty of oxygen, plenty of air pockets, might we say, for oxygen to be around the roots. This will be more like its natural environment. So there are a few good pre-mixed soils out there. You can use a cactus and succulent mix, or they also have specific snake plant mixes that you can buy. I'll leave the link in the description below to those, so you can check those out. But today we're going to DIY or make our own soil mix. So to do this, I like to have a 2-to-2 ratio of 2 parts coco coir or peat moss, 2 parts sand, and 2 parts perlite. And then we add in our fertilizer. Okay, so what that looks like is first, I'm going to grab my tray here. I'm going to have 2 parts of peat moss today, just because I'm out of my coco coir. I'm going to do peat moss, and I'm going to make sure to moisten that first. That's a big thing. Straight out of the bag, it won't hold the water like it's supposed to, so you got to get it nice and wet first. I've got my peat moss here. Okay. And I'm going to measure it in cupfuls. So it's kind of a loose measurement, but it works. Okay, that's why I say 2 parts and not like 2 cups or 2 spoonfuls. It's based on your own cup, whatever you've got. So 2 parts peat moss. Okay, and I'm going to get that nice and wet. Okay, you can see how at the beginning this peat moss just does not hold any of that water. Just kind of sits on top. Coco coir does the same exact thing. You can watch my video on how to use coco coir for soil, and I show you there how to rehydrate it. Peat moss is pretty similar, it's just not as sustainable. So I don't like to use peat moss, I usually use coco coir, but today that's what I've got. Okay. So there is our 2 parts peat moss. Now I'm going to go with 2 parts sand and 2 parts perlite, and then I'm going to mix it all up. Here's my sand. And my perlite, and I'm running low on perlite. Okay, now I will say perlite also can be a bit dusty straight out of the bag especially, so I like to add a little bit of water into my perlite as well. Okay, now I like to add my fertilizer. So I do that personally in 2 different ways. I add earthworm castings over here. So I'm going to add 1 big scoopful. I mean, not a full scoop, so we're not talking like a whole part earthworm castings. I'm talking about like a big spoonful in a way. So you can see that. It's just part of the way down, not the whole cup. So some earthworm castings. And then I have some Osmocote slow release fertilizer that I like to put in my pots. These slow release granules, anytime you use a fertilizer, read the instructions on the back and follow the rate that it tells you on the instructions, because they're all mixed differently. They all have different amounts of fertilizer in it. And you want to make sure that your plant gets the right amount. It doesn't get too much or too little, especially too much. That could be harmful. So mine is a little less than a capful. Okay, and then I'm gonna go mix that back in. Okay, so that is my personal mix for a snake plant soil. What you get is this nice kind of sandy mix. And I personally like that because it adds more weight. So you feel this soil and it's a lot heavier than your typical houseplant soil because the sand. Okay, the sand adds more drainage as well as it kind of weighs down the pot. Okay, a lot of our Sansevieria species are snake plants, like these guys in here. They get really big and they tend to fall over if they're not in a big enough pot, like a sturdy ceramic or terracotta pot, as well as if they don't have heavy enough soil, then they'll just kind of tip over and fall out. So make sure that you use more of a dense soil like this with the sand that's also great for drainage. Okay, so that's why I like to put more of that sand in this mix. It comes out great, it drains well, and it holds that pot down. Now, I don't like moving my snake plants around a lot because they're heavy, but it sure holds it in place. That's it for today's video. Go ahead and let me know in the comments below what you like to put in your snake plant mix. And then if you like this video, go ahead and hit the thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss more videos. And then I have a special bonus for you all today. If you have a struggling houseplant, go ahead and get the free downloadable guide called the Plant Rescue Kit. I put this together just for you guys so you have an extra little resource on those days that your plant just might not be looking that great. Okay, so make sure that you snag that. I'll leave that in the description below. Have a good one and good luck with your snake plant.